Did you know even the biggest Hollywood stars have moments when they're just parents? Yeah, even those larger-than-life celebrities you see on the big screen have quiet moments at home, where all the makeup, all the flash, all the fame fades away, and what's left is just a mom or a dad trying to raise their kids. Think about it for a second. We often imagine them as completely different from us, right? Like they live on another planet. But the truth is, no matter how big their name is, they still feel the same fears, the same love, the same pride for their kids that every parent does. And here's something I want you to imagine. What would it feel like to have Johnny Depp as your dad? Just picture that. Would he still be the same quirky, mysterious guy we've all grown to love? Would he talk in riddles? Would he sit at the dinner table dressed as Jack Sparrow just to make you laugh? Or, would he just be dad? Quiet. Protective. Loving. That question, what kind of dad is Johnny Depp? Has fascinated me for a long time. And when I came across this beautiful little moment between Johnny and his son Jack, I knew I had to share it with you. So first, thank you for being here with me today. Thanks for clicking on this video and spending a few minutes out of your day to listen to this story. If you've ever wondered what Johnny Depp is really like when he's just being a father, you're not alone. And honestly, what I found out might just change the way you see him forever. We all know Johnny Depp for his unforgettable roles, right? Captain Jack Sparrow, of course. Edward Scissorhands. Willy Wonka. Grindelwald. The Mad Hatter. He's eccentric. He's talented. He's creative beyond words. But he's also lived a life that's been anything but easy. The UPS. The downs. The controversies. The battles in court. The headlines splashed across magazines and blogs. Yet through all of that, through all of it, one thing has always stayed the same, his love for his children. Today, I want to tell you about one of those quiet, touching moments between Johnny and his son Jack. It's such a simple thing, really, but it speaks volumes. And by the end of this story, I think you'll understand just why those 4 little words, "I'm proud of you," meant so much coming from him. So, let's start with Jack. You may have heard his name here and there. Jack Depp. But chances are, you don't know much about him. And that's by design. Jack is Johnny's youngest child, his son with French actress and singer Vanessa Paradis. Born quietly, without much media fanfare. And that's exactly how Johnny wanted it. Right from the start, he made it clear that his kids deserved to grow up out of the harsh glare of the spotlight. He didn't want them plastered on magazine covers. He didn't want cameras following them around, documenting their every move. He didn't want them growing up feeling like their childhood was a show for the world to watch. So Jack grew up quietly. And you know what? There's something beautiful about that. While Johnny was making movies and walking red carpets, Jack was just being a kid. Going to school. Hanging out with friends. Skateboarding through the streets. Playing video games. Wearing hoodies and beanies and just trying to blend in like any other teenager. For the longest time, you barely saw his face in public. And that was no accident. Johnny worked hard to protect his son's privacy, even when the paparazzi pushed and pushed to get a photo. But here's the thing about kids. They don't stay little forever. And lately, Jack has grown up. He's not that shy little boy anymore. He's become a young man now, and you can see it. You can see it in the way he carries himself. In the way he looks at the world. There's a quiet confidence about him. A calm strength. Almost as if he inherited his dad's soul, but without all the noise. And not long ago, someone asked Johnny about Jack. They asked him how his son was doing, now that he's grown up. And Johnny's answer? It wasn't long. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't a carefully crafted statement meant for the cameras. He just smiled that little half smile of his, looked down for a moment, and said, I'm proud of you, son. 4 words. That's it. But isn't that what every son wants to hear? Isn't that what every daughter, every child longs for? To know that their parent sees them. That they're proud, not because of what you've achieved, but because of who you are. In that moment, Johnny wasn't Captain Jack Sparrow. He wasn't Edward Scissorhands. He wasn't a headline, or a superstar, or a scandal. He was just a dad. A dad looking at his son and seeing the kind of person he's become, and feeling proud. And if you've ever been on either side of that moment, hearing those words from your parents, or saying them to your kids, you know how much it means. But here's what makes this even more powerful. Johnny has said before that his own childhood was rough. He grew up in a home filled with chaos and pain. And he's been honest about how much that hurt him, how much it shaped him. So when he became a father, he made a promise to himself: his kids would never feel the way he felt. They'd always know they were loved. That they mattered. That they could be whoever they wanted to be. And that's why he never pressured Jack to follow in his footsteps. He never told him to become an actor, or a musician, or anything else. He never said, "Be like me." Instead, he said, "Whatever makes you happy, go for it." And that, right there, is one of the smartest, kindest things any parent can do. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to force your kids to follow a certain path. You just have to be there. To support them. To let them know you believe in them. Even now, Jack hasn't shown much interest in Hollywood. And you know what? That says a lot about the kind of young man he is, and the kind of father Johnny has been. In a world that constantly screams for attention, where everyone seems desperate to be seen, Jack seems perfectly content to live quietly. He's not chasing the lights, or the cameras, or the fame his father has carried for decades. And Johnny? You'd think maybe that would disappoint him, right? After all, he spent his whole life creating characters, telling stories, living on sets. Maybe a part of him would have wanted his son to carry that on. But no. If anything, Johnny seems completely okay with it. More than okay, he seems proud of the fact that Jack knows himself well enough to say no to all of it. Because Johnny knows better than anyone that the most important thing in life isn't fame. It's happiness. And that's something he's been saying for years. Fame is a tricky thing. When you're on the outside looking in, it looks magical. The lights. The fans. The applause. The money. Who wouldn't want that, right? But Johnny has always been honest about what fame really feels like. He's called it isolating. Exhausting. Even a little dehumanizing. He said that when you're famous, people stop seeing you as a person and start seeing you as a product. And that's why he worked so hard to protect Jack and his sister Lily Rose from it. He's told stories about trying to sneak them out the back of restaurants, keeping their names out of magazines, pulling hats low over their eyes so they could walk through a crowd without being stopped. Because at the end of the day, what he wanted for them was simple: a childhood. A real one. Not one lived under a microscope. Not one where every mistake was broadcast to the world. Just a chance to be kids. And now, seeing Jack grow up into a young man who isn't chasing the same fame, who seems happy just being himself, that's got to feel like a win for Johnny. Because isn't that what every parent wants? Not for their kids to be rich or famous or powerful, but just to be happy. To feel at home in their own skin. And that's exactly what Jack seems to be. When you see photos of him now, you can tell. He's got his father's eyes, that same quiet intensity, but there's also this gentleness to him. Like he's figured out what really matters in life, even at such a young age. And maybe that's the greatest gift Johnny could have given him. Because here's the truth. Johnny has always said that his own childhood was nothing like that. He grew up in a house where there was a lot of anger. A lot of chaos. He's admitted that he felt like he was always walking on eggshells, waiting for the next fight, the next bad moment. And he's been open about how much that shaped him. About how much pain he carried because of it. So when he became a father himself, he made a promise, his kids would never feel like that. And every choice he's made since then. Every time he shielded them from the cameras, every time he skipped an event to be at home with them, every time he chose their peace over his own career, it all comes back to that promise. To break the cycle. To let them know, in ways big and small, that they were loved. And the way he talks about Jack now, you can tell he's kept that promise. When he says, "I'm proud of you," it's not just about who Jack is now, it's about everything Johnny overcame to raise him this way. Because being proud of your child, it's not just about their achievements. It's about watching them grow into themselves. It's about seeing them make choices that make them happy. It's about knowing you've given them a safe enough foundation that they feel free to be who they really are. And that's something not everyone gets to feel. You see, fame can twist people. It can make them believe that their worth is tied to how much attention they get. To how many people know their name. To how many awards they win. But Johnny never wanted that for his kids. And Jack? He seems to understand that already. He's not out there trying to be someone he's not. He's not playing the fame game. He's just living. Quietly. And in this loud, chaotic world, that's actually really brave. It takes strength to step away from the expectations people have of you. It takes courage to say, "No, that's not me. I don't need that." And maybe that's what Johnny sees when he looks at his son. Not just a young man who's growing up, but a young man who knows himself. And that's why he's proud. Because at the end of the day, isn't that what we all want? To feel seen. To feel understood. To know that the people who matter most to us, our parents, our family, look at us and say, "I'm proud of you." That feeling stays with you. It gives you strength when the world gets hard. It reminds you that you matter, even when you doubt yourself. And that's what Johnny has given Jack. Not fame. Not money. Not a career handed to him on a silver platter. But love. Support. The kind of foundation that lets a young man grow into his own. And when you think about it, that's worth more than anything else. So here's something to think about. What about you? What's something your parents said to you that you've carried with you all these years? Or, if you're a parent yourself, what's something you've told your kids, or want to tell your kids, that you hope stays in their hearts forever? Take a second. Really think about it. And if you feel comfortable, share your story in the comments. I'd love to read it. Because those little words, the ones that don't make headlines, the ones that no one else hears, they're the ones that shape us the most. And if you enjoyed this quiet little peek into Johnny Depp's life, if it made you smile, or maybe even made you think about your own family, then stick around. We've got more stories like this coming. Stories about the side of celebrities you don't always get to see. The human side. The parent. The child. The person underneath it all. There's another video coming up about Johnny's beautiful bond with his daughter Lily Rose, and you don't want to miss it. So before you go, if this story touched you even just a little, even just enough to make you think about someone you love, please tap that like button. It really helps more people find stories like this. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you don't miss what's next. I can't tell you how much it means to have you here. To have you listen to these stories and take them to heart. Thank you for spending this time with me today. And remember this, no matter where you are, no matter who you are, no matter what you're going through. The simplest words can change everything. So don't wait to say them. If you're proud of someone, tell them. If you love someone, tell them. Because those little words might just mean more than you'll ever know. So from me to you, thank you. Take care of yourself. Be kind to the people around you. And I'll see you in the next one. And honestly, that's a lesson we can all learn. It's easy to get caught up in what the world thinks success looks like. But sometimes, success is just seeing your kids grow up into good, kind people. People who know who they are. People who don't need the world's approval to feel whole. And that's exactly what Johnny sees when he looks at Jack. So here's a little reminder for all of us: sometimes it's not about the big, dramatic gestures. Sometimes, it's about the quiet moments. The little words. The things that seem small, but mean everything. Because at the end of the day, the simplest words, like, "I'm proud of you," can stay in someone's heart forever. Now I want to hear from you. What about you? What's something your parents said to you that you'll never forget? Or, if you're a parent, what's something you've said to your kids that you hope they'll carry with them for the rest of their lives? Drop your story in the comments. I'd really love to read them. And if you enjoyed this little glimpse into Johnny Depp's world as a father, if it made you smile, or made you think about your own family, then you're going to love what's coming next. We've got another video about Johnny's incredible bond with his daughter Lily Rose, and trust me, you won't want to miss that. Before you go, if this story touched you even just a little, go ahead and tap that like button. It really helps more people find stories like this. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. It's been such a pleasure spending this time with you. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And remember, sometimes, all it takes to change someone's day, maybe even their life, is to look at them and say, "I'm proud of you. Take care of yourself. Be kind. And I'll see you in the next one."